Okay, mixture problems are a broad category of problems that deal with mixing two different things. You could be mixing two different kinds of antifreeze. You could be mixing two different kinds of meat. You could be mixing two different kinds of cookies. A mixture problem could involve two different trips. It could involve a savings investment in two different kinds of accounts. So in this video, we're going to look at interest problems. Now, these problems deal with simple interest, and we should already be familiar with the simple interest equation, which is I equals P times R. Now, interest, I equals P times R. Interest equals the principal, the amount of money you put into the account, times the interest rate. Now, it should also be times T, but for these problems, T is always 1 year. So we've simplified the equation to just I equals PR. T goes away. All right, so let's suppose that we have an interest problem that reads something like this. Maria has $6,000 to invest. Okay, she puts some of it into an account. That has an interest rate, and we'll say it has an average annual interest rate of 6%. And she puts the rest into an account that earns 10% annual interest. Okay, now this part of the problem is really pretty general. The question may be something like, how much money does she put into each account if she earns $500 for the year? All right, well, what we usually do when I teach this particular kind of word problem, I usually have my students do what I call a problem setup, where we identify the principal and the interest rate that's associated with each investment. So we'll say P1 is the principal in the first account, and R1 is its interest rate. Of course, the R for that account is 6%. And I don't know how much money that I've put into that account. So I can just say X. X is the amount of money in P1. Now, P2 is the principal in the second account, and its interest rate is 10%. If you want to go ahead when you're doing your problem setup and change these percents into decimals, that's a good idea. All right, now I don't know how much is in P1. I also don't know how much is in P2, but I know that the total amount of money is $6,000. So if I put this much into this account, then the leftover has to go into this account. And I can write what's left over by showing that I get that using subtraction. 6,000 minus whatever I put right here is the money that's left over to put into this account. Okay, you could put X here and Y here, but then you would need to write that equation that X plus Y equals 6,000 and solve for Y so that you can put this all into one variable. So this is what I call my problem setup. And I always have the students do this. Look in the problem for this information, because you can find something that you can put down for all four of these. Now, the question generally involves the money that's being earned from the investments, or the money that you have at the end of the year from the investments. So in this case, the question is, how much money does she put into each account if she earns $500 for the year? It's a question about how much we're earning. All right. Now what this question says is I'm earning $500 total. That's my total interest. All right. Total interest is $500. Well, how do you get a total? We get a total by adding. So I'm going to add the interest from the first account to the interest that I earn in the second account, and that's going to equal 500. So this is my equation, my general, very general equation that represents this statement right here. Now, once I have this written, all I have to do is define what I1 is according to my problem setup. According to this equation and my problem setup, I1 is 6% times x. How do I write that? Well, I write 0.06x. And I2 comes from this data right here. And so I2 is 10%, which is 0.10, times 6,000 minus x. I need my parentheses right there, okay? And all of that equals $500. So I did a problem setup. I wrote an equation that represents the statement, okay? This is my general equation that represents the statement. And then I use substitution to get my specific equation in one variable, okay? So this is the specific equation that I'm going to solve right here. Now, assuming that the math skills are there to solve this equation, okay, and we have, using my distributive property, I hit this, okay. Now, 0.06x minus 0.1x gives me a negative 0.04x plus, and then this is going to give me 600. You just move the decimal over 1, equals 500. All right, I can subtract the 600. So I've got negative 0.04x equals negative 100. And when I divide both sides by negative 0.04, okay, then I get, all right, my negative signs go away. And I've really got 100 divided by 4, which is 25. But then I've got another 100 underneath that, so I'm going to multiply that 25 by 100, so that's 2,500. All right, so x is 2,500. That tells me that I have to put $2,500 in this account, in the 6% account, and then 6,000 minus 2,500, which is 3,500. This is the amount of money in the second account. So now I can answer both of those questions. P1 is $2,500, P2 is $3,500.